Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone to And She Thrived, which serves to hold space for Muslim divorced women. Today we have Alia Jamal with us. Assalamu alaikum, Alia, marhaban, welcome.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited that we're finally able to reconnect despite everything that has happened regarding time zones and all of that. So we're resuming again. And I'd just like to introduce Alia. She is the love coach and pranic healer who is dedicated to help women connect with unconditional love with themselves. She combines her 10-year experience in cytogenetics, study of human behavior, and human energy body to help her clients align with their true self. She helps them eliminate fears, anxiety, guilt, and judgments and create a life of love and power. Besides helping her clients living as their true authentic self, she loves trees, meditation, and healing. Okay, so I'm very curious to know, why are you known as the love coach?
Because I have discovered in my own journey, there's only one true love when it comes to human, and that is our love for ourselves and the unconditional self-love. So when I say the love coach, I am representing that unconditional love that most people don't even have any idea what that is. We usually know about the intimate love. So I am the ambassador of love itself. Sometimes I say I am love. Um, that's why I call myself the love coach.
That's awesome. So I'm quite sure that your own personal journey has shaped where you are now.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the question that you are a divorcee yourself, and you've mentioned that you had what you said was a really good divorce. What makes a divorce a good divorce?
So when a divorce is done from a place of understanding and healing, then it's a beautiful journey because there's no bitterness, there's no resentment, there's no blame game going on because that's what makes divorce so hard and difficult. And there's an energetical separation happening. So no matter what, it is going to be painful because my body has been used to that person. So that separation, we feel it. But if we add, it was all your fault, you could have done better, you're a bad person, look where you brought us. If we add all that sauce on top of it, then it becomes very difficult. So my divorce, I mean, I did file for divorce twice from the same man within 12-month period. The first time around, I withdrew my case because one, he asked for a second chance, and I didn't have the courage and trust in myself to go through. That is the truth that I'm aware of at the moment. But when after 12 months I started the case again, it just happened from such a loving place, from such a deeper understanding. There was a different level of surrender. There was no like, it's your fault, why did you do this? Or it's my fault, why did I do this? It was just like, hey, listen, I don't think so, we're gonna work together. Can we go our separate ways with a lot of love? I can love you from a distance and we can just raise our child that way. So that was the foundation of our divorce, and it has been such a beautiful journey. Um, and what I have created now and what I get to experience now every single day, and my son and his dad, is just so beautiful because the foundation was love. It was not hatred or bitterness.
It's incredible. And then do you feel that because when your frequency was different the second time around, that it was received differently?
It was definitely received differently, but it was always also like from his side, he was just like, I don't know what else to say. It was more like that, yes, I know you have already given me another chance. But the higher my frequency stayed, of course, it was he showed up at the same level without doing any deeper inner work that I have done. That's what I teach my client. Once you shift your energy, the other person has no choice but to show up on the same energy.
Okay. So when we spoke the last time, you mentioned to me that you were previously depressed and perhaps entertained suicidal thoughts, and now you just like this, like like this bundle of love and joy, and I mean, it's your positive energy is very palpable. So would you be willing to share with us
Oh, of
what happened then and what brought you to the point that you are now? Yeah.
Of course. So my journey started in 2015. One day, you know, my husband at that time, love of my life, he just came to me and he said, I am seeing somebody else. I'm not leaving her, but I'm not leaving you either. And we had been together since we were 17, my first love, my best friend, a father of my child, my everything, like my world. That was him. And he came and he told me that. So for me, it was a crack in the universe. Nothing makes sense anymore. Everything I knew to be true is not true anymore. And, you know, I know, I don't know if we had that conversation at one point. Um, so I was a very, very practicing Muslim. I have studied with Al Maghrib Institute. So I am praying 5 times. I'm praying the Hajj. I'm doing Quran every day. And nothing is shifting. It was just like, what is it? I'm supposed to feel peace, but you know, there's no peace in my life. And that took me towards a very deep depression. It took me towards why God this did this to me, why this is happening to me. I was always the good person. And then, you know, the way out to that pain was suicide. And I was standing there holding pills in my hand, ready to take them, didn't care about my 15-month-old baby. But two psychology classes um, in college had left some kind of impact that a little voice said, oh, you need help. And right there and then, I remember I was standing in my kitchen and I just Googled therapy near me. First number that popped, I called them. They said, if you can promise to not take any action till tomorrow, we'll talk to you tomorrow. And I said, I think I can trust myself for that much. In that moment, I didn't even trust myself. What will I do? So once I went for therapy, the very first thing I realized that there's so much unresolved stuff within me that I need to do work on that. It has nothing to do with, you know, what God is doing to me, or, you know, it's more internal where I need to show up for myself. I need to take responsibility. I need to shift that. That was the beginning of the journey. But after
You say not even you said it's nothing to do with that, but also not to do with your husband at the time.
no, at that time, everything had to do with my husband. I was mad at him. I was like, what did he do? But at least I was able to say, like, you know, okay, God is not doing it to me. I need to see things maybe a little different, or I need to make different decisions. The first thing they told me, they were like, hey, we can help you get a very decent divorce. We can help you with that. And I was like, oh, I do have that option. Do I want to go for it? No, I don't, because I can fix it. I was in that I can fix anything mode. And also the pressure that we put on a woman. And you know, it's so unfortunate that every single woman I talked to, whether it was my mom, my sister, my friend, his family, everybody said it's your fault and you could have prevented it. You're just not a good woman. Like, you know, you could have done something differently. That is where I was like, oh, the woman betray woman. You know, it's another thing. There's a woman outside who's dating a married man, but then even these women are against me. So I think that's where I felt very lonely. And I was, I think, maybe born with a scientist mind, with a science background. I just had gazillion question why people act the way they act. First, I wanted to understand his behavior so maybe I can fix my marriage and save my family. And the other aspect was why people are acting that way. And then it was like, what is going on within me? It started me on a beautiful journey. In 2016, I was healthy enough mentally that I could go back to work, started studying self-help. When I say started studying, it's like 26 books in a month. That is the level I studied with. I would stay up late at night just reading books because this is all the knowledge I didn't know. And then I started a coaching program with Tony Robbins. I did 4 different coaching certificates with them. I studied pranic healing, which is a form of energy healing, and I studied multiple modalities in between. And I discovered a human can create their own reality. So if I am in a mess, I have created it. God provides us financially, we provide ourselves emotionally. So if I am not in alignment with the universe for those emotions, I am gonna create chaos. As I learned that secret, my life, it was just like, oh my God, I'm top of this world. I can fix it, I can change it. So we separated, then we got back together. And then I started helping other people and their life is changing. But the closer I got to my true self, the only answer I got, you're not meant to be here. You're supposed to let him go. And I was not ready for that. So in 2019, when I did file for a case and I withdrew the case, that is when I felt like the being that lives within me, she's gonna leave. I'm gonna die. She's not gonna put up with what I just did, because that was the deepest level of self-betrayal that I did. That's when I discovered the heart. That's when I discovered the energy of love. I had been studying mind and the power of mind, but the heart has its own world. Um, and the more I studied it, that the front heart has the wisdom and the back heart is where we store all the trauma. I started taking these inner journey to go in my heart, be there, interact with my own wisdom, and energy of love is in our front heart. When I felt that for the first time, it was like even more beautiful than when we got married, or that those first stages of intimacy. It was even more beautiful than that. So in September of 2019, that's one day, solo breakfast date with myself, I realized, oh, I have fallen in love with myself. Now I love myself a little bit more than I loved him. And that is literally when a voice spoke to me and said, you're going to be the love coach. You're going to help people heal their heart. So that led me into shifting from being a relationship coach to being a love coach. And then in 2020, when I did file for my divorce, it just came from a place of this deep, unconditional love for myself and for him. And even now, like whenever we are very good friends, whenever we sit down, if we ever go into the past, I'm like, hey, stop. You don't have to say any apology to me. Whatever you did, everything was perfect. From this moment on, how about we focus on the future? Like, what kind of life you want to live? I feel like that level of respect and care only started to come up once I loved myself deeply. Then I can love him to that deeper level. So that's why I started from depression, discovered myself, found my heart, healed it, worked on it, and now I live with energy of love.
That's awesome. And but the topic of self-love is a huge one, and I definitely want to get onto that. But before we get there, you mentioned cytogenetics. What could you tell us what that is and how that impacts your work?
Yeah, so cytogenetics is basically the study of the chromosomes. So the work that I was doing, we would get bone marrow from oncology patients, grow cell lines, catch them at mitosis, and then just analyze chromosomes. So my typical day was either in a lab or sitting in a dark room with a microscope analyzing chromosomes. And every time I looked at it, my faith became higher, because I was like, this tiny piece shifted from one place to the other, and a person is dying. So imagine like what's going on within me and how it's impacting uh my life. It definitely like was increasing my faith every single day. But because of being part of that and studying it on ongoing basis, I was always studying about human body and what goes on. So now when I work with my clients, my average client has three diseases, underlying three diseases going on. So I help them understand the medical aspect of it, the physical, like biologically, physically what's going on, and then the energetical, and then the psychological. So that has really helped me help my clients understand their health on such a deeper level.
Okay. Now, many divorcees have self-limiting beliefs. As you have mentioned, the self-love thing is a big problem. I would say that even divorced men suffer from that as well, and maybe it's even harder for them because they perhaps not as vocal, do not have as many support groups. And so when you hear things about self-love, they talk about mantras and that type of thing, self-affirmation. Do you think that that's sufficient, or what? Maybe you could tell us more about what process do you take your clients through to make them go from a place of a very low self-esteem to having that genuine, effusive self-love, which you, mashallah, seem to have, attained.
So self-love is I say in a current time and age, we think it's an accessory. It's a bag or a scarf that I can buy and I can just wear it and then I'll have self-love. But true self-love is unconditional love. And very few people even attempt to get to that level. That's where I have gone, continue going on that path and take my clients. So a true love for yourself would be realizing your oneness with God. So in the path, I have to let go of every single thing that I picked up from this world. That would require me releasing my childhood trauma, because all the limiting beliefs I picked up after I came in this body. So it would require releasing that, however other people treated me, like, separating from my family psychologically, separating from my culture, separating maybe from some of the religious belief I was taught, and really truly coming in oneness and in alignment with God. That is when I'm going to feel I'm perfect, I'm whole, I don't have to get anywhere to get all of that. And I am worthy. I am just as worthy as, my creator is, because he created me in his image. I do have that creative power. So that is a level when you become one with the higher self, with your soul, and we start to live from that place, not from our humanness. Then we start to live from the power that I am, that came in this body, to do what is most important to do. Getting married, having kids is part of my life cycle as a human. It's not my purpose. So when we start to walk on that purpose and we become the channel to that divine power that came here to do something very specific, to me, that is unconditional love. That is when I'm going to see God in every single person. Even the person who have hurted me, I can see the truth in them, and I can see, oh, they have this unresolved stuff. That's why they are treating me this way. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. So being able to see everyone with that level of transparency, to me, that is embodiment of unconditional love itself.
So is it a cognitive thing where you are just speaking with clients, or what are the different processes that you incorporate?
So I actually take my clients first through rewiring of their unconscious mind and belief, which is all childhood trauma that we released. We are just coaching, talking the way we are talking. I take them through a lot of inner processes where they just close their eyes and they go really deep within themselves. We resolve stuff there. We do somatic work. Today, I just before this call, I had a client call. We are working on releasing fear. So first, I took them through a journey where they felt fear with their whole body, and then we released it. But now, later on tonight, I'm going to do a healing session on her, which is energy healing. So I'm going to clear everything from her energy body as well. Because whatever happened in the childhood, whatever mom said to her or dad said to her or ex-husband said, it's all stuck in the energy body. Words are energy. And when we believe what someone is saying, whether we like it or not, but we hold on to it. Oh, my mom used to say this to me. It's stuck in my energy body. So I release that. The more we release, the lighter we get, the closer we get to being one with God. And once we start experiencing that, someone can come and they can throw whatever they want to throw at you. They can't get to you. And I believe God created us to be the highest creation. That is the driving force for me. Let me figure that out. What is that? Why I'm the highest creation? Why he asked jinns and angels to do sajda to our kind? What is so special about me? And that is the work that keeps leading me every single day. And once we start living with this level of wholeness and healing and oneness with our creator, truly, psychologically, physically, energetically. So that is the process that we go through.
Would you argue that a person can't really realize what that higher purpose is until they embody that self-love? Is that the second step to a process?
So some people from very early childhood, they just know what they came here to do. No matter what kind of trauma they go through, is so clear. Because there are some higher chakras, like the physical chakra we have over here, there's 5 chakras above that. Some kids are just born with activated higher chakras. They just know. They might have gone through like terrible childhood and whatnot, but that truth is so open within them. So it's very possible they will just know it. And then there's some people who go through the healing journey, and at the end they're like, oh, that's what I'm meant to do. It differs.
Could you just elaborate on what you are meant to do? Because as you mentioned, being a wife, being the mother of your child, those are roles. Those are roles, right? So then
Yeah.
when you say purpose, do you mean in terms of like what you contribute to the world? Is it a career? What do you
So
mean?
it's sharing your gifts with other human. So I do a lot of soul study, and I do study outside of Islam, of course, a lot. Most of my study is outside of Islam. When a soul comes in this body, the soul is coming, one, to grow in something very specific, like they're coming to master this part of being a human this time. And they're also coming to share a talent that they have with the whole world. So they're going to leave that thing behind. When we come, we have those 2 agendas. The gift that I'm going to leave it, okay, that was my contribution. That was like, okay, I have pink lollipops. I shared pink lollipops with everybody. But while I was sharing that, I mastered sharing. I mastered giving, or maybe I mastered receiving. So what I have mastered, I get to take that with me. There's like, 3 discs that we have: divine power, divine love, and divine light. We master that, we take them. When the soul leaves, we take that. But whatever I have contributed, that was kind of part of my purpose of creation. God created me to do that. Just like, he created Steve Jobs to bring iPhone to the world. It's completely changed it. Same way I came here with a very specific thing. So as I'm studying, I'm continuously, even in meditation, I'm asking that question: what am I here to do? What am I here to do? And eventually you do start hearing that voice, but it does require me being closer to my higher self than to the people or my past, because that is when I can really hear that voice. But I have met people, because I I meet with all kind of very fascinating people, fascinating. They just knew, like as soon as they were like maybe 4 or 5, they just knew exactly what they came here to do, and they just got on with that. So they have accomplished like, amazing stuff by the time they're 30 or 35, and they never got attached to what others were saying. So those are special souls who come with very open energy.
Wow, that clarifies things. So I read some of your Instagram posts, which I really enjoyed. If you would like to tell us something about self-acceptance, anything that you would like to.
So self-acceptance is to me, self-acceptance is the last level. Once you get there, you're right there, very close to your higher self. It's really truly accepting and embodying that you are whole and perfect. Nothing needs to change in you. A lot of people say it verbally. A lot of women I talk to, they'll be like, oh, I accept myself. I accept the way my body is, this and that. And the acceptance I'm talking about, it's your thoughts. The kind of thoughts that you think. Do you really accept yourself in your thoughts? If you accept yourself in your thoughts, you would never worry about somebody rejecting you, ever. But we all worry about, because one of the core fear a human have is fear of rejection. And we can, like, just we can take that and talk about it for 5 hours, how deep that goes. Some people never even go that deep. So on the surface, they're like, oh, I accept that, I am fat. I accept I have crooked teeth. We think acceptance is just physical appearance, but acceptance is, again, going back to realizing I'm one with God. I am as worthy as God is. So there's this one quote, if it's okay, I can share it. I start my client there. I was like, this is the foundation, and they're like, not there yet. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna build it. So it is, the truth about you is so lofty that nothing unworthy of God is worthy of you. Choose then what you want in these terms, and accept nothing you would not offer to God as wholly fitting for him. So that is, I cannot talk to myself in a way that I would not talk to a higher power. I cannot treat myself in a way that I would not treat a higher power. I cannot think about myself in a way that I would not think about a higher power. So it goes really, really deep down to my thoughts. And most of us, we have so many unconscious thoughts. We are not even aware that all day long we are criticizing ourselves at the back of our head. And if that exists, I have not accepted myself. I can pretend I have, but that's not true.
Yes, I did read you. You spoke about toxic relationships with oneself. You said we always talk about toxic relationship with this one and that one, where we don't think that we might have a toxic relationship with oneself. And you said the voice says you need someone to be with you to be worthy of this next step. I found that interesting. You need someone to be with you to be worthy of this next step. If you would like to tell us more about that.
So, what is the biggest thing a woman is a condition from before she's born? You need a man. You need a man to be worthy. If you don't have a man, you're not even worthy. You're not even part of this society. Um, then in teenage years, it's like you need to have friends. You need to have, like, this, you need to have that. So our worth is always, oh, you need to have kids to be a worthy woman once you do get married. So we all always attach somebody with us to be worthy. But that's not our worth. Our true worth is I just am. That is my worth. But getting to that level is going to require us releasing all that we have created, the shells and the walls we have created around us, that I need to have all of this to be worthy. So when a person doesn't feel worthy, they attract toxic relationships outside of them. But the reason they are attracting that, because that vibration is within them. So we go around labeling everybody, this friend is toxic, I'm gonna drop her. This husband is toxic, I'm gonna drop him. My mother-in-law is toxic. But very rarely we sit down with ourselves and be like, why am I attracting these people? How am I talking to myself? How do I see myself that this person is seeing myself? So when I am sitting here, while my son is going to school, and I'm just like, oh, I am not really deserving of this. I'm not deserving of that. Oh my God, I can't have this. I can't have that. I'm worrying all day long, right? He's going to come home. He's going to start vibrating on my energy. He's going to start throwing tantrum. He's going to start maybe yelling and screaming at me. And I'll be like, my son is so out of control. I need to fix him. I need to give him time out. But I created that with my thoughts, my energy, what I was carrying around. So the same way we impact every single person, whether it's our spouse, whether it's our ex-spouse, whether it's whoever, whenever I want to create a change outside of me, it has to be first here. But that requires me getting very, very honest with myself, which we are not willing to be. We like to blame on other people. And I just very quickly want to share, people who know me locally, my friends who have known me for a long time, they have seen us together and not together, or people who recently have met me, they would say, "Oh, you have a very happy divorce. You are lucky that, he shows up with the same level as you have." And I would say, do you have any idea how I think about him now differently on demand than I did in the past? They just look at me. If someone can get into my hand, this is what I'm saying all the time. He's such a wonderful father. He's such a wonderful father. He's such a wonderful father. It's like a mantra going on in my head.
But it's genuine, right? You're not just like saying it superficially. Do you actually like?
I am choosing to create that reality. So when I am consciously running that in my conscious mind, my unconscious mind eventually is going to pick that. So it's not like I'm going to stand in front of the mirror, going to say it 10 times. It's not that. That is how I'm living every single moment. Anything from the past come, anything he did, I sent him a text this morning, I haven't received the message. If my mind wants to say, see, this is how he is, I'll be like, no, I'm creating this very specific reality. So I keep repeating, he's a wonderful person or wonderful father. What's going to happen, that energy, definitely first it gets absorbed by my unconscious mind. So my unconscious mind is sending out a signal to the universe. Conscious mind is sending. When two signals go much stronger, I create that reality. And the part of him that will show up would be a wonderful father. And when I experience that, like I have experienced stuff where the turnaround has been 12 hours, 24 hours. When I experience it, what I have created, then I just smile how easy and beautiful life is and how fast we can switch it. But it requires me being present. I cannot be on autopilot. I cannot just let my mind wander wherever. I cannot say, oh, I'm allowed to think whatever. No, thinking is the power that I have. It needs to be used. It cannot just wander all over the place. And that requires, of course, discipline, requires meditation to be in hold of our thoughts and whatnot.
Just for the benefit of our viewing community, because not everyone might be aware of the whole unconscious mind and energy fields, just to be very clear about that is actually not like woo-woo stuff or like new age. It's actually based on science and epigenetics and neuroscience. And I mean, I've learned this from reading from Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you have any other recommendations that people could read, to because I think it's very important, because even what you're saying about how you think and then it's perceived by the other person, they've measured like brain waves that go outside. They will show in scans that they actually expand beyond the body. That's why when you say, "Oh my gosh, you called, I was just thinking about you today," and then whenever people do that, I'll say, "I'm not surprised at all, because it's entanglement."
Exactly.
It's only contacting me because I was thinking about you yesterday. Yeah.
So I would say HeartMath Institute would be perfect for those who want to learn deeper and they need science proof. They are dedicated to even about the heart and all the work that they are doing. They are helping people heal faster by activating their heart field.
And that's a free resource, isn't it?
Yeah. So they do have a lot of free resource, and then you can maybe pay only $27 and take like their whole deeper course. And then they also train coaches too. So some of my friends, they are HeartMath Institute coaches. So all they do, align your crown and your heart. These two center, once they align, which means your thinking is in check, and what you're putting out or what you've been storing is in check, that is a optimal human. That is when you can get access to all of yourself. Because once we activate the heart, it activates the higher chakra on its own, and we get direct connection with our higher self. So that's just gonna get too technical. I study the energy body. So with my clients, I take them so deep that whatever they are practicing, they know why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mhm. I think it's very important for people to, and this is what we're trying to do, is to enable people to become more self-aware, to do the work, because
Yeah,
you know what's happening. You know, like how many people suffer from chronic pain, and often chronic pain is linked to trauma, linked
yeah,
to very toxic subconscious beliefs. And
exactly.
we know that we operate, we enact upon 97% from our
Yeah,
subconscious.
exactly. Like pain is also one of like unexplainable physical pain or explainable physical pain is one of the thing a lot of clients come to me. And the client that I was talking to today had like herniated disc. So I am working on whatever we need to release, but I'm also doing healing on the herniated disc. And energetically, the bulge was this big, and now it's only this big. So energetically, it's like 70% there. So today she told me we have done 3 healing sessions so far and 4 coaching sessions. And today she said that for last 2 days there has been no pain.
It's
And
amazing.
the stuff that we are releasing, it's exactly like the belief that we've been holding on to. So when I work with one thing I saw when I worked on myself, on my energy body and changed the way I think and treat myself, I healed very fast. The growth was very, very fast. And that's when I combined the two. So one of the reason my clients, they move really fast in their healing journey is a clear energy field and changing the way they think, because our thoughts are going to create that polluted energy that goes back and gets stuck in our body.
Right. Now, for those women out there who might say, well, I can't afford to do coaching, how do you have any recommendations of things that they can implement in their lives today
I
that can
mean,
help them, you know, reach that self-love?
yeah. So there is a level that you can reach just by reading. So they can, they're like, we live in a knowledge age. YouTube. We can learn so much at YouTube, like so many things you can learn. You can listen to, like, you can go into my channel. I teach 100%. Whatever my clients are getting, they can get that. There's so many teachers out there who are teaching 100. They will give you 100% of their knowledge for free. But this is where it gets tricky. If you want to go higher, you need energy investment. At some point, you have to enter money in the picture. And it really depends how high you want to go. Like I know of mentors, they charge 500,000 for their services. Well, once you work with them, oh my God, who you become, it's so worth it. So, maybe for some person right now, all they can invest is $10 to get a physical book so they can start reading. Just start wherever you are. But also know that in the future, at some point, do invest energy in yourself. Like we think of it
Yeah.
money.
If you could explain more what that means, because when we do certain practices, for example, as Qigong, that totally
Yeah.
works with your energy field, and that's a very personal practice.
Yeah.
And it can totally shift your energy field. It works with, and there are other modalities too that people can do. Even there are things like trauma release exercises.
Acupuncture does work on the energy body too. So
Right. So,
I'm talking about when you want to go higher to become one with your higher self. There's a level you can resolve your all human issues without ever paying anybody, just using stuff from YouTube, readings, books, and whatnot. But there's a path when you go there, you do need someone who's ahead of you. That does require money. And what I want to promote is making it okay for us to invest money in ourselves. If right now you have $5, invest that $5 in yourself. If you have 5,000, go ahead and invest that 5,000 in yourself. The way money works, especially when I'm investing in myself, always comes back. We have made it very normal to get a student loan for thousands of dollars to get a degree. So we'll have a job. We get to the job and then we are so stressed out, live in fear and miserable that we are dying. So how about I spend some thousands to learn my internal world, which no school is teaching. Nobody's teaching that because we are getting trained to be employees. So why would someone would teach you the power that's within you? So if you want to learn that at some point, have a budget to invest in yourself.
Yes, and I would say that also, furthermore, having someone, just anyone in your life, and it might be a coach who really like pays attention to you and believes in you, just that in itself, it's like the person just like blossoms because it's
Yeah,
having that attention focus on you that like I can see your potential. And I think that
yeah.
that's also very powerful and can be quite transformative. Where if you're just doing it like a solo show, you might still get there, but it might be much more challenging. Yeah.
Exactly. So the generally the client I work with, like the one I'm working with right now for past 3 years, have been self-studying, have studied so many books, have gone for therapy. And now, like every session, the way we are jumping from like this week we are here and the next week we are here. And even the person is surprised themselves, oh my God, I'm growing so fast. So two reasons growing so fast. One, have invested energy. So what
Right.
energy?
Now, when you say growing so fast, what does it mean, growing so fast?
So let's say last week I felt so lethargic, in pain, past was still haunting me, had no interest for life. This week, feeling so energized, very less pain, even somebody from the past called and didn't get triggered.
Yeah, that's a huge shift.
So that's like, just in 1 week. So every week we are jumping because there's energy investment. Because when we make quantum leap, I help my clients make quantum leap. When we make a quantum leap, the particle has to become energized to make the jump. That happens with money. And it happens when the other person can see, which you cannot see yet. So when I meet with somebody, I can see exactly their true self within them. It's almost like I'm seeing two people. I have done that work so I can see it. So I am taking this person and always merging them with this person. And sometimes I'm just communicating with their higher self, and I am just passing on the message of their higher self. My goal is to connect them with their higher self so they never need me again. But in order to take the journey right now, they do need to talk to somebody who can see that in themselves. When I started studying with my current mentor, David Nagel, he said, believe in my belief. And I was like, okay, if you think I can do it, I'm just going to put my belief in your belief. So anytime the voice said, you cannot do it, I just said, okay, maybe I cannot do it, but David thinks I can believe it. My coach name is David Nagel. And that catapulted my growth so much more. And also that was one of the biggest investment I ever made in myself, which did not require my business. So we can really go very far and high when we make ourselves priority. And what I see happening with my clients, once they do this work, their marriage becomes juicy. That is the word. Their marriage just becomes super juicy. They go to work, they're so relaxed, they are not stressed out, they are not even afraid of getting laid off, but they go there to just contribute. And then they are just present for their family. They're not like bitter about my mother-in-law said this last year, my sister-in-law treated me that way. All of that is gone. So they show up for their family, for their kids with so much ease, flexibility, and fluidity. I mean, that work is worth it. But it's not easy work. It does require, and we can start wherever we are, with a book, with a podcast. But this is something we'll be doing for the rest of our life. There's no destination.
Absolutely.
There's no like, once I get there, okay, then I can stop. Once you walk on the path of discovering yourself, you never stop.
100%.
Yeah.
So, in your work and research, is there anything that's really striking that sticks out for you? Something
Yeah.
that.
How many lies we hold on to.
Uh-huh.
Like every time I discover a truth, because not sure if I mentioned it before, I'm also a PhD student for metaphysics. That is what I have ventured on to for this year. So metaphysics is all study about the universe and the universal laws, but on a very deeper level. my coach has been teaching that to me for past 2.5 years. So I decided, okay, this is time to go way deeper. So when I come across the universal truth, oh, that's who I truly am, I just sit back and I'm like, all these years, the lies I've been told, the lies that I have believed, life is so easy, so beautiful. But I didn't know that. Like one day, literally, I was doing my lesson and when I came to the end of it, I sat here, right here on my desk, and I cried. And I said, all this has been here all along, and I didn't know life is this easy and this beautiful. Because my mantra had been ever since I was born, life is hard, everything is hard, happiness is hard. I was always chasing happiness, trying to be happy, but now I finally have it. I am happy. I am one with it. And life is so easy.
So when you say that things can be so easy, do you mean in terms of making what you want manifest?
Oh, easy in terms you are the creator of your life. And it is so easy to create something different once you understand how it's done. Our unconscious mind and the trauma that is stored there, it makes everything difficult. It makes everything hard, everything impossible. But once you can separate the lies and you can release them, you can see the truth, everything is so easy.
Mm.
Changing yourself is easy, changing your life is easy, creating a healthy body is easy. I mean, right now I'm helping somebody, one of my clients, autoimmune disorder, 3, 4 other diseases going on, and have been in the medical system for 20 plus years, is on a lot of medication. So life has been hard. It's been hard to be healthy. And we are creating health with so much ease. It gets to be easy. We are going to, it's like, already we are like 50% there. Pretty soon we're going to be 100% there. But
Yeah.
that a person becoming the creator of their own life, then everything is easy.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I've mentioned this to certain people that I know in my life, and then they almost seem disbelieving of it, because they say, oh, well, we've got financial issues. My marriage is so hard, and this, and my mother is this. And, it's just, things are so challenging that they almost have asserted that this kind of change is maybe only for people of affluence, people who have.
Yeah. I mean, I can share that when since we are talking about finances, when I was going to go for therapy the first time, I was out of work. I had recently got laid off, and my husband at that time had been laid off too. So we both are not working. Our saving is running pretty low too. I'm Pakistani, so in our tradition, parents always give you gold jewelry when you get married. That's like an asset you always have. I had this one piece and I took it to a shop and it got sold for $2,000. I would say that was the last money to my name. I took the 2,000, I went for therapy and I told the lady, I have 2,000, how many sessions you can give me? I didn't ask for okay, can you do pro bono work for me? I recognized in that lowest point, I need to save myself. If I don't take this step, my son might not have a mom. And that is a truth for so many women. That step, like I owe my life to that Alia, what she did. And then fast forward, always worked, always had money, no problem, good middle class lifestyle, vacation and all. When I filed for divorce twice within a year period of time, that kind of depletes you a little bit. And then I did end up investing 18,000 in 2020 with one coach to work on my business. So that's like, wiping out the cash and everything too. And then I'm getting laid off at the end of 2020. I know that after December, there's no job, and I have decided to make my business full time. So, it's like literally paycheck to paycheck. And I have no idea how I'm going to sustain myself and my boy from January. And there comes this teacher. I read his book. From his book, I knew he's going to be my next teacher. I get on his free workshop. And I'm like, oh my God, what he's teaching, I have never heard. He's my teacher. And then I looked at my bank account, had 250. His workshop in September, October coming up is 250. I was like, Alia, don't even think, just buy the ticket. I bought the ticket. That month, I didn't pay my gas bill because my bank account went negative. And I was like, I know the next paycheck is coming. I know we'll be fine. Next paycheck came, I was fine. I get on this call, this 3-day, seminar, and everybody I'm meeting in the Zoom room, they're like, oh, Alia, if he offers you something at the end, buy it, don't even think. And first day, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna learn this knowledge. He teaches you how to create your reality. Yes. Second day, they shared for 90 days, it's gonna be 10,000. And I'm like, are you out of your mind? You don't even have that money. And okay, I can't. Third day, again, he's sharing it. I was like, oh no, I have to get it. Because he said, once you make the decision, the money shows up. And I said, I have never heard somebody say that, because David Nagel, he teaches you how to create money. He teaches you universal laws. And I was like, it would be pretty cool to be learned that. They didn't teach me that in school. That week my mom came. It was 2 months after my divorce. She gave me $1,000. She was like, just in case you need to have extra. I had only that $1,000 extra. And like by that time I'm like 35, 36-year old, and being in a place where you have like nothing, no assets to claim, just a divorce, to your name. And I got on a call with his CEO and I said, I have $1,000. Can I start the program with that? She was like, yeah, sure, because we know you'll be able to pay it back. And I said, why is she so sure? Okay, I'll start it. I started it. Whatever he was teaching, I implemented in my actions, in my way of thinking, reading new books. I bought books more than ever in my life. I started seeing money come to my bank account the way I have never, like, I saw balances that I have never seen in my life. And then I was like, what is happening here? Is this real? Like, all my life, I had these struggles. Like, what is it? Basically, he was showing me there's another way of being. There's another world that pretty much exists why our hard life exists. He was showing me how to create that. He was showing me quantum leap. I can jump onto a different timeline where I do have access to all this money. Once I learned that, it was a very humbling experience. So at the end of 90 day, they had like, they were like, hey, do you want to record a testimonial? And I was like, I just want to say thank you for showing me this way of living. Like, my love for my mentor is so much. I don't think so I can ever thank him enough to showing me the way I live. I have been always able to pay, and I have always been able to renew every single year. This is my 3rd year with him. And the way his program is set up, we meet every single day, 9 a.m., Saturday, Sunday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, no break. He's like, when you are on your purpose, there's no break. Why do you need break? Why do you need to retire? That's the kind of mindset he teaches. It's been a blessing to learn from him. And then I took that. I started teaching it to my clients. I was like, okay, I've been able to do it because I have done all this work. Can a person who just brand new to this thing, can they do it? I have seen women go from being jobless, sitting in a hospital bed, making 6 figures within 3 to 4 months. I have seen women go from like, part-time work, living in mom's living room, single mom with the kid, 4 months, having a stable job, having their own home, having a business, and just recently double their salary. And I was like, okay, you doubled your salary, so how about for next 6 months we double it again? So this is the kind of world I have seen. So that's why I say, when I discovered how easy it is, I was like, oh my God, I have lived 3
Hey,
decades
you
in
make it
art.
sound like magic. It really just sounds like magic. It's
Because
just,
we are magical. We are magical. That's why if you see my social media post, I use the word magic a lot and it triggers people so much because we are magical. If you're not gonna
maybe,
discover,
I think that's a sensitive word, but maybe miraculous. We are miraculous beings for sure.
yeah, I mean, to me, magic still sounds more like me because our thoughts are like, our words are spells. Our thoughts are like, these little magical things we are sending that can go out and touch anything. I heavily teach about energy of love. Energy of love, the most powerful thing about it, anything it touches, it heals. I can touch my kidney with love. I can send it love. My kidney is going to start repairing itself and it's going to heal. I can send it to a person, they would heal. I can send it to a relationship, it will heal. Like, when my married clients, it happened this last weekend. I'm getting very triggered. My husband is getting very triggered. We both are just at each other. What should I do? And I said, okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to him, you're gonna hug him, you're gonna kiss him, and you're not gonna let go of that hug. You're going to breathe from your heart, inhale and exhale love to his heart. Inhale, exhale love. Send directly love to his heart where you're doing that hug. And stay there till you really feel, okay, now you should let go. It fixed everything. They had a beautiful rest of the day. How easy it is to fix, like, bickering and bitterness, because we get frustrated with each other. That frustration energy, like, it can really take us into a spin.
How phenomenal. It's extraordinary, really. Thank you. That's so inspiring. I hope everybody's motivated to go and embark upon the journey for sure. I did want you to mention, well, actually, before we close, do you have any general advice out there for these women who are watching this?
I just want to say this. We have been brainwashed that self-love is selfish. That if you'll give to yourself, you are being selfish, and being selfish is wrong. But when you put yourself on the top of your list, that is the most selfless thing that you can do. Because let's say if I am really good to my husband, unconsciously I'm expecting something from him. But if I wake up every day and if I did everything that I'm expecting him to do for myself, when I show up for him, I'm showing up from overflow, not expecting anything. So he's not feeling she want to grab something from me. Even if I don't say it, the other person can feel our energy. So if I show up to my husband, to my kids, to my whole family, to my coworkers, that, hey, I am open and ready to give you whatever you want. That is true selflessness. And if each and every one of us can start living that way, world is going to be so much more beautiful. There would be less relationship drama. There would be less relationship trauma, but it requires one person saying, yes, I want to do that. And that one person can change a whole generation to come.
Absolutely. Would you be able to tell us about your, I believe you have a free once a week, like a gathering that you can
Yeah.
join?
So I teach a free workshop every single Thursday. Different topics. I take bite-sized topics that I teach my clients, and I fully 100% teach on that. It's called Love Circle, and anyone can opt in. It's free. And if they just opt in, I send out the recording as well. So they don't have to be in the same time zone, or they don't have to attend it live. But if they do attend it live, I do on-spot coaching for free. Sometimes women have come and we have done like a whole coaching session. So they leave fully transformed and with action steps. So for anybody who's out there and they are looking for, okay, how can I get help right now if I don't have a place, budget for it? So they can start there.
It's great. And then also, I definitely want to include your other details of your website and the services that you offer. So I'll do that in the note for the YouTube. And thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. I really enjoyed speaking with you today. Jazakallah
Thank
khair.
you so much for having me. So nice to have this conversation.
Inshallah. Hope we can speak again, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum.